everyone, welcome back to Zagami Beauty. I'm Krysia. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're gonna have so much fun. It's a new release for holiday from Charlotte Tilbury. It's gonna be her Smoky Eyes or Forever Instant Eye Palette. This is that big 12-pan palette that comes out for every holiday season, and I'm super excited to play with it, show you guys some swatches, some comparisons. I know some of the thoughts were wishy-washy when this was released because is it too similar to her other instant eye palettes, especially last year's Bejewelled Eyes to Hypnotize. We're going to take a closer look and see if it's really worth spending the dough on this palette. Of course, before we get started, I invite you to subscribe today to join the Zagami family, to leave me a comment down below. Are you guys interested in this palette this year? I know it's a lot of money and sometimes it's just not necessary to have duplicates. We'll see how it goes with the review, and of course give it a like and follow me on Instagram for content that doesn't make it to YouTube. So again, lots of beauty content, more little tidbits of my life as well on that platform. Okay guys, that is it. Let's get straight into this review. Okay, my hair is really not behaving today, you guys, so just disregard it. Pretend it looks super glam and super wavy and like mermaid-like. We'll put that vision into everyone's head. All right, so it comes typically packaged. Nothing crazy new for Charlotte Tilbury. This particular palette actually came with a little brush. It came with her crease brush, which is really nice, a mini version of that, and I love that brush. I feel like it's an all-in-one everything brush. So a little mini brush there. And then we have the packaging for the Smoky Eyes Are Forever. She went very black and gold this year, in tune with that theme of smoky eyes. I'm going to show you guys some close-ups of the palette. So it's very much just black and gold. There's maybe a little tiny bit of micro glitter in the packaging, nothing crazy. You open it up and then you have the colors. Of course, like every year, she does put a little flap in there, and that just gives you instructions. So it kind of goes in threes. We have the prime shade, enhance, and the smoke shade. I tend to mix and match. If I'm in a rush, I just do tend to use what she suggests. Otherwise, of course, you can just mix and match. And I do feel that this year's palette just sort of takes little tidbits of her previous palettes. I do feel like this, for example, is from last year's Bejeweled palette. I feel there's similarities there. The green there I think is from the 2 years ago palette with the blue packaging. I didn't get that one, but I do remember there were some greens in that one. Here we have something very similar to this year's nude palette. These shades remind me of the nude palette there. And then here I feel like that's from, you know, the Pillow Talk or the first original instant eye palette. We'll do some comparisons. I'm especially curious to compare these with last year's Bejeweled palette because the formula seems very similar when I swatch these. So let's segue into some swatches, you guys. Top row, we have first Love Eyes. That creamy shade is very, very light. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to use it for myself. So I wish it was a little bit darker to use as a transition color, but still very creamy and smooth. Those two other shades, of course, as usual, very sparkly. Next trio is the greens, the Power Eyes, and again, the matte shade is gorgeous, so creamy. And then we have the two kind of more shimmery shades. Next is the last 6 shades. We have Happy Eyes, which are those sort of like burgundies and pinks, typical story for Charlotte Tilbury in terms of the warm Pillow Talk type shades. And then Confident Eyes is where we get a little bit smoky. And I am so thrilled that she added a matte brown and a matte black. I think that makes the palette super complete. I know it could be a duplication. They're nothing special, but at the end of the day, they can really make or break it when you do makeup. It just ties everything together to have a really beautiful neutral medium brown and a black in the palette. So I'm happy she added those. Like I said, so far upon swatching, the only shade I'm sort of disappointed with is that one there, that creamy shade. I don't know, I just don't tend to use those types of shades. Let me know, you guys. I know some people like to set their entire eye before they do their makeup with a shade like that, but for me, brow bone, I like to have some shimmer. Inner eye, I like to have some shimmer, maybe to blend everything out. We'll see. I'll try and use as many colors as I can. I am going to work, so I'm not going to do 2 different eye looks, but I can most definitely film another video doing another couple of eye looks with this palette. So let me know down below if you're interested with me doing, you know, a couple more eye looks after today's review. I'm going to scoot you guys in and we're going to go straight in and do a look. Okay, so we're really, really close, you guys. Too close for comfort. So I'm going to start and try and use that really light shade that I wasn't overly impressed with. And so far this crease brush is more pointy than her typical crease brush, which I actually like because I like extending my eye look out a little cat eye-ish. We'll go in with that really creamy shade. Let's just see if that does anything. Okay, so it just kind of creates a little bit of a base, evens out the skin tone on the eye. Nothing crazy. Again, I'll use it, but anyone darker than me, like what is that going to do? Maybe if I'm a matte highlight shade? I don't know. I just feel like if that would have been just a little bit darker to use as a transition shade, I would have been a little bit more happy with that. So I'm going to go in next and just do a little bit of a crease. So I'll use that shade there. Ooh, this is beautiful and creamy and just lovely. And it is kind of going smoky kind of quick there. I'm going to take that creamy shade again and just see if I can blend. I'll see if I can use that as a blending shade to sort of clean up. Yeah, so that works. Just kind of cleans up the area a little bit. I do want to use the green shades. So I'm going to go in and use the middle green shade there. Just sort of all over the lid. With the brush, it's okay. I'm going to use my fingers because those shades I tend to want to use with my fingers. That's way better. Look at that impact. Love that shade. It's such a beautiful khaki shade. Let's go in and do a little bit of a blend. I'm going to use that darker shade just to sort of smudge things out, and I'm going to use her smudge brush. So just that shade there. And I am getting a little bit of fallout. Just kind of rare for Charlotte Tilbury. Just smoking things out a little bit. Now I really want to use those pink shades because I think they're just so, so beautiful. So I'm going to use this shade here, which is sort of a topper shade. Let's go in and all over. Oh yes. These toppers I can get behind. Her typical topper shades in the quads, I just feel like they go hard pan so quick, but this formula is very reminiscent to the Bejewelled Eye palette where it's just very creamy, so emollient, but not hard pan type emollient, if that makes sense. I'm going to line the eyes with the black, and again, it's all in one. I really appreciate having that black. Okay, so I will use that same topper shade there. Oh, and it works beautifully. Oh, yes. So pretty. We'll take that crease shade again and just smudge out the bottom lash line just a little bit more. Should we go extra smoky? I mean, it is a smoky eye palette. Let's do it. Now, I was debating whether to do that typical brown that I've been raving about having in a palette, or should I go a little bit warmer? Both will look amazing. It's just a matter of, do I want to go like super autumn-like or just stick with the brown? I want to try out that brown. I want to see how it behaves as a crease shade. So just that brown next to the black. And just smoke it out a little bit. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's smooth, it's easy to blend, and it just smokes it out a little bit more. So I initially didn't think this palette was going to go overly smoky, and it is. It's definitely a smoky eye palette. It is really, really gorgeous. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit more of that topper just because I feel like I lost it, and then I think I'm good, you guys. I might do a final blend before mascara, but I think that's good. Like it's smoky. I'm really impressed, and I wasn't going in thinking I was going to be impressed, and even that cream shade is acting like the perfect blend for a smoky eye. So I take back those words of not liking or wanting that cream shade in there. Mascara time, you guys, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, you guys. Here's a close-up of the look. Okay guys, so that's the final look, and I rushed. I really rushed because I have to go to work in half an hour. So even rushing, okay, even really rushing through this process, I was able to create a beautiful smoky eye. That is exactly why I love Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, yes, in addition to, of course, the packaging, in addition to the quality, which is 95% of the time A+. It is easy. It is makeup that is easy, and I didn't think creating a smoky look would be this easy, but of course Charlotte Tilbury makes it easy once again for the everyday makeup lover to create a beautiful smoky eye look. Could I have gone even smokier? Absolutely. This palette lets you do that. Now, before I rave about this palette, because I really, really love it, let's go in and do some comparison swatches. I'm not going to really do a ton of comparison swatches with the Pillow Talk palette. I feel like that one stands alone, and I feel like the shimmers in here are sort of that in-between intensity to these. I feel like the Bejeweled last year and then this year's Smoky Eyes are the same when it comes to that type of like really extra creamy, gilded, intense metallic consistency. So I'm going to compare these two. I'm going to grab some similar shades from both of these palettes and let's do some comparisons. So on the top we have the new Smoky Eyes Are Forever, and the bottom is the Bejeweled palette from last year. I just chose about 5 shades I thought were similar, and really when you look at it, only those first 3 shades are quite similar to each other. As you guys can see, yes, the formula is very, very similar, and you do have some similarities with some of those shades. Where this stands sort of different is that it's a little bit more broody. The tones are a little bit more smoky, and of course that was the intention with the palette, and it works. It works so beautifully as a smoky palette that is still very wearable. The fact that she can make it go smoky in so many different color stories is just spectacular to me, because I personally cannot pull off a silvery typical gray smoky eye. I've tried in a Chanel palette that came out. The Dior one I didn't even bother trying because it looked beautiful, yet I know those tones aren't going to work for me. Yet she made it so that you can use different color stories into a smoky look. She added that black and brown, which is so fantastic, and I appreciate that. I feel like it just makes the palette complete. I don't have to reach over to get that shade for lining my eyes or just creating a little bit more intensity. You do have some of the warmer tones smoky. You still have enough light shades to do an inner corner pop, to do that halo eye type situation pop. And you have green, which is again another beautiful way to go smoky like I did today. I am so in love with this palette, and I don't feel that it's the same as this one. I mean, yeah, of course you never need more makeup, so I'm never gonna say, yeah, you need this, you absolutely have to have this. No, but at the end of the day, it's beautiful and it stands so, so strongly on its own. It's definitely, to me, different enough to invest in. Quality is absolutely there. You get a little cute brush with it, which I love because it does have a bit of a point on it, so I was able to kind of get that sort of extension of a cat eye going there. I give this palette literally, like, do I give it a 10 out of 10? Yeah, like I am gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Absolutely top notch, A+ from me. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me know your thoughts down below. How do you like this look? Will you be getting this palette? Are you on the fence still? Let me know your thoughts. I can't wait to hear from you. Also, don't forget to subscribe today, and that way I can see you in my next video very, very soon.